What secrets lurk beneath the glitz and glamour of Diddy's empire? Today, for the first time, disturbing details from inside his hidden underground tunnels have been revealed in a federal courtroom that could change everything. During Day 5 of the federal trial, Cassie Ventura stunned the courtroom by confirming the existence of secret underground tunnels beneath Diddy's Los Angeles mansion. Hidden behind foliage near the pool, these tunnels were more than just architectural oddities. They led to a chilling, isolated world filled with locked rooms, red lights, and unsettling props. The atmosphere was heavy with anticipation as reporters and jurors alike sensed something major was coming. Cassie's calm, yet tired demeanor hid the weight she carried. Her testimony promised to expose more than just a volatile relationship or celebrity drama. This was a deeper, darker secret. Evidence of control, secrecy, and fear had been whispered about for months, but now, on the record and under oath, the truth was breaking free. What followed was more than testimony. It was a warning of a hidden world shielded by fame, money, and silence. As the courtroom braced for what was to come, everyone understood this would be a turning point in one of the most shocking celebrity trials in recent history. The unexpected revelation of the tunnels. During Day 5 of the federal trial, Cassie Ventura stunned the courtroom by confirming the existence of secret underground tunnels beneath Diddy's Los Angeles mansion. Hidden behind foliage near the pool, these tunnels were more than just architectural oddities. They led to a chilling, isolated world filled with locked rooms, red lights, and unsettling props. Cassie explained how the entrance was disguised as part of the landscaping, a slope covered with leaves, hiding a hatch. Below, concrete stairs and steel doors awaited, and the deeper we went, the colder it got. Inside, Cassie knew this was not just some safe room. This was something else entirely. The defense lawyer's question about the tunnels stopped the courtroom in its tracks. There had been rumors swirling around the internet, whispered claims, even jokes in the media about secret passages, but no one had confirmed it until now. Cassie's single word, yes, changed everything. As she described walking through the tunnels, she spoke of fluorescent-lit, bare-walled corridors, no windows, and no cell service. A buzzing, almost mechanical noise filled the air, making it feel less like a home and more like an institution. The hallways twisted and turned, disorienting and isolating. What she encountered inside was even more disturbing. The rooms had red lighting, cameras in the corners, and leather furniture. There was a distinct smell of cleaning chemicals, sweat, and something else she couldn't name. Shelves were lined with props, masks, ropes, oils, and latex outfits, some of which appeared unworn. Mirrors covered the ceiling and floor. Soundproof padding hugged the walls. None of it felt like fantasy. The space screamed control, designed to exert power and dominance. Cassie's description revealed a side of Diddy's world shielded from the public eye. A secret, shadowy domain that no one expected. This revelation not only shocked the courtroom, but also could unravel the carefully guarded empire that fame and fortune had concealed for so long. Inside the dark chambers, Cassie described the chilling interior. Fluorescent-lit corridors with no windows or cell service, leading to multiple rooms designed not for comfort, but control. The rooms were lined with soundproof padding, loaded with masks, ropes, and latex outfits, creating a clinical yet perverse atmosphere that screamed power and domination. One room had shelves filled with props, while another was completely dark, with chains on the walls and just a bench in the middle. Another featured a full-length mirror and a digital panel next to the bed, the purpose of which Cassie couldn't explain. The last room held only a chair and a box of wires. These chambers weren't places for relaxation. Cassie felt they were built to exert control over someone else. It was a place where bad things happened, something deeply unsettling and hidden beneath the surface of wealth and fame. Among these rooms, Cassie spotted two women wearing wigs and masks, silent and still, their presence unsettling. She referred to them as performers, but they were never introduced or explained to her. Cameras were mounted in the corners, and the smell hanging in the air was a strange mix of cleaning chemicals, sweat, and something else she couldn't identify. Every detail pointed to an environment designed not to entertain, but to dominate and subdue. This glimpse into the dark chambers left Cassie shaken, with memories etched deep in her mind that she could never forget. Her single visit was enough to reveal a grim truth that had long been whispered about, but never verified until now. The performers and the atmosphere of silence. Cassie described seeing two women, both wearing wigs and masks, present in one of the underground rooms. One was lying still on a couch, the other sitting near a tripod with a camera mounted, their presence silent and eerie. They didn't speak, they hardly moved, creating an unsettling atmosphere that spoke volumes without words. Diddy referred to them as performers, but Cassie was never introduced to them and had no idea who they were. The room was equipped with cameras in the corners, red lights casting an ominous glow over the leather furniture. The smell was a mix of cleaning chemicals, sweat, and something else indistinct but deeply disturbing. Cassie said it was nothing like a place for entertainment or relaxation, but instead felt like it was built for control, to exert power over someone else. The silence in the room wasn't peaceful. It was oppressive, thick with fear and submission. The presence of the two women, passive and masked, made it clear this was not a space for comfort but confinement. This haunting scene left a lasting impression on Cassie, a memory she carried with her long after that night, a chilling glimpse into a world no one outside the room should have known existed. The dark reality of freak-offs. A term that surfaced repeatedly in threads of Cassie's text with Diddy was freak-offs, planned nights involving multiple participants and sometimes filming. These sessions were carefully orchestrated events involving role assignments and mandatory drug use, blurring the lines of consent and control in a way that Cassie described as deeply manipulative and coercive. She explained that a freak-off was never an isolated incident, but a recurring event scheduled at least twice a month, sometimes spontaneous, other times arranged like business meetings with guests brought in by assistants. Cassie admitted that she sometimes agreed to participate, but emphasized that agreeing while drugged is not consent. She said, "I was often high. Sometimes I didn't remember what I had done." The sessions, she testified, frequently involved drugs handed to her directly or through staff. Diddy would tell her they were to help her relax, but instead, they made her foggy, slow, compliant. During one freak-off in the underground tunnels, Cassie was instructed to wear a latex suit and remain silent the entire night, being told she would be punished if she broke character. The guests included strangers, whose names she never learned. One chilling message from Diddy entered into evidence declared, "This time, I want control." No safe word. Cassie testified that there were moments she didn't feel in control of her own body, and afterward felt hollow and disconnected from herself. The layers of control extended beyond just the physical events. Cassie described how Diddy's constant monitoring and intimidation made her completely dependent, and how the planned freak-offs were a tool of control and power, designed to exert dominance through fear, coercion, and manipulation rather than any genuine consent. Manipulation, control, and dependency. Beyond the physical confines of the tunnels, Cassie unveiled a grim pattern of control. Constant calls, threats, and restricting her access to anything outside the relationship created a suffocating dependence. Efforts to seek help were thwarted, and repeated attempts to break free were met with punishment and intimidation. She explained how if she left the house without checking in, he'd call 50 times. If she didn't answer, he'd threaten to ruin everything. It was like he was cutting off my access to anything outside of him. I was completely dependent. At one point, she claimed she tried to get help through a luxury rehab disguised as a spa, but he found out. He showed up, told them I was just dramatic. I checked out the next day. This constant surveillance and isolation made Cassie feel trapped in a cage she couldn't escape. The psychological grip was as fierce as any physical restraint. The control extended beyond just monitoring her whereabouts. Staff were allegedly instructed to stop dealing drugs to her directly, accusing her of stealing from him. This deprivation heightened her dependency and helplessness. Cassie admitted she sometimes agreed to these events, But agreeing while drugged is not consent. I was often high. Sometimes I didn't remember what I had done. These manipulations blurred the line between choice and coercion. She detailed how he called her 50 times if she tried leaving without checking in, a terrifying indicator of his controlling nature. This toxic control was a constant in her life, poisoning every interaction and eroding her sense of self. Even when she sought help, his influence reached inside the walls meant for healing, dragging her back into the dark. The walls closed in emotionally and physically, making her isolation deeper and her struggle more desperate. The physical abuse beneath the surface. Cassie's testimony took a harrowing turn as she recounted instances of physical abuse, bruises, gashes, and violent episodes that left her both physically and emotionally scarred. From early signs like gripping wrists too hard to being thrown off a boat in the Caribbean, the violence was brutal and sustained, fueled by paranoia and control. She described nights filled with fear, waking up to unexplained injuries, and the overwhelming feeling of helplessness. One night, she told the court, Diddy became paranoid after reading a text from another man, Kid Cudi, someone she had briefly dated during a break in her relationship. This jealousy fueled aggressive acts, including being kicked in the back. Despite the physical and emotional pain, Diddy would often apologize afterward, promising it would never happen again, but the cycle always repeated. Cassie recalled how punishment extended beyond physical harm. Messages sent through trusted people, constant surveillance, and the threat of ruining her reputation. These tactics ensured she felt watched and controlled at all times. When asked why she didn't go to the police, her answer was heartbreaking. Because I didn't think anyone would believe me. He had power. I didn't. Perhaps the most shocking moment was when she revealed that after one of the worst nights, Diddy threw her off a boat, calling her dead weight. She swam to shore and, despite everything, still went back to him. This chilling admission left the courtroom stunned, highlighting the depth of manipulation and control Cassie endured. Her story is a stark reminder of how physical abuse can be intertwined with emotional captivity, making escape feel impossible. Through her courage in sharing these painful experiences, Cassie hopes to bring light to the hidden scars many endure in silence. The Intercontinental Hotel Incident, Breaking Point. The night before the movie premiere was supposed to be a celebration, but for Cassie, it turned into a haunting ordeal. Diddy pressured her into one last freak-off, promising it would be quick and help them reconnect. She resisted at first, saying no, but his persistence wore her down. It was tradition, he said, that every big moment needed one of their nights. Eventually, she relented, desperate for peace and wanting to avoid conflict right before her red carpet event. Cassie was driven to the Intercontinental Hotel, believing it would be a private encounter between just the two of them. However, upon arrival, she discovered others waiting, 2 women and 1 male dancer surrounded by candles and cameras. She immediately knew what was about to happen. Cassie was given a pill, told it would help her loosen up. Exhausted and vulnerable, she took it. Her memories of the night are fragmented. Flashes of the masked dancer, Diddy recording on his phone, and her own reflection in the mirror, slurring words she doesn't recall saying. Then blackness. She woke hours later alone and drenched in sweat. Looking at her phone, she saw messages from Diddy saying, "You were amazing. I'm proud." She didn't understand what he meant and never asked. Despite the chaos, Cassie cleaned herself up and walked the red carpet with a smile, hiding bruises and pain no one could see. Texts from that day revealed Diddy's messages asking if she was still glowing and if she wanted to do it again after the afterparty. Messages she never responded to. That night marked a breaking point, the culmination of a decade of control, manipulation, and abuse. It was the last straw, prompting Cassie to finally envision a life without him. The next morning, she flew to New York alone. For the first time in years, she felt free to breathe. This night changed everything, sparking a journey toward reclaiming her life and speaking the truth that others have been too afraid to tell. From silence to speaking out. For years, fear and disbelief kept Cassie and others silent. But her lawsuit opened the floodgates, encouraging others to come forward. The FBI also launched raids based on allegations tied to trafficking and coercion. Despite the crushing weight of the past, Cassie's final words were a call for accountability for everyone trapped in this hidden nightmare. Cassie didn't want to become a symbol. She just wanted to be free. Yet, here she was in federal court, recounting everything in detail on the record under oath. This was more than testimony. It was a warning. The world outside the courtroom already knew something monumental had happened. Other women came forward with anonymous stories and new complaints, breaking the silence that had shielded this secret world for too long. Authorities stormed Diddy's properties, searching for evidence of trafficking and coercion. Rumors swirled about underground structures and secret recordings. Cassie declined interviews, fearful of becoming a target again. She admitted she hadn't spoken sooner because she didn't think anyone would believe her. He was Diddy. The power he held felt untouchable. But now the truth was out, and Cassie was not the only one ready to speak. Her bravery changed the narrative, giving voice to countless others who had suffered in silence. The trial continues, but this moment marked a turning point, a seismic shift from hidden abuse to public reckoning. Cassie Ventura's testimony peeled back a dark veil cloaking fame and power, revealing a story of control, fear, and survival few dared to imagine. As the trial continues, one thing is clear. The world can no longer look away from the truths buried beneath the surface. What was once hidden behind doors and whispers is now out in the open, forcing a reckoning that goes beyond one individual. This isn't just about one woman's pain or one celebrity's alleged actions. It's a stark reminder of how power can be twisted into domination and silence into complicity. More importantly, it's a call to listen to survivors, to believe them, and to demand accountability where darkness has long been allowed to fester unchecked. For every secret tunnel exposed, every shadowy room described, and every coded text revealed, there's a human story of resilience and courage. Cassie's decision to speak up, despite the fear and pressure, lights a path for others trapped in silence. The consequences of this trial will ripple far beyond the courtroom walls, reshaping conversations about consent, control, and the hidden costs of fame. As viewers, it's essential to recognize these stories are not merely sensational headlines, but urgent lessons in justice and humanity. And while the legal battle is far from over, the truth that emerged on day 5 is a powerful catalyst for change, one that demands our attention and reflection long after the cameras stop rolling.